Hey, it's Rob from Wheelworks Bike Shop in Dublin. We have a new bike, brand new, unreleased, for launch this week. Still under embargo, so got to be careful we don't hit go on this video too soon. It is a new Checkpoint, Trek Checkpoint. The Checkpoint is Trek's gravel bike, and there has been some changes in the Checkpoint range. They wear SL and SLR, which was your mid-range and your high end. So your sort of racing one, and the lighter, higher spec one was the SLR. That's being replaced now by the Checkmate. So the Checkmate is now Trek's race-specific gravel bike. The Checkpoint is the regular gravel bike, more leisure, endurance, and bike packing sort of stuff. More mounts, all that sort of stuff on it. So this is the SLR, or this is the SL6. This is the first one of these I've seen. So I've read the bump and the technical specs and the FAQs and the documents and all that sort of stuff, and I did my homework, but it was a couple of weeks ago and I've probably forgotten half it, so I'm going to hopefully not miss too much. If I do, you can point out my mistakes in the comments or whatever you like. So it's a SL6. It's with SRAM AXS rival, 1x and 12 on the back. It's a really cool looking paint scheme actually. So let's start off with the paint, because that's what, if Ash is watching, my wife, Aisling, watches some of the videos until I take the wrappings off. She sees the colour and then she's out of here. So as not to keep Ash hanging around too long, we'll do the colour, let her away, and then we'll move on to the technical stuff. So it's, I think that the technical, or the name for the blue is Hex Blue, and it's some sort of black. I'm not sure which black it is at the back, with a splatter. If you want to move in a bit closer there, Chad, you can have a look at the colour there. That's really nice, with a sort of a satin finish on the frame. You got a red logo, sort of gold colour splatter through it, and that continues onto the fork. You've got mounts down here for either bags or bottles on the fork. The frame has clearance for up to 50mm tyres. So we've just built a Checkmate, the racing one, and we fitted 50mm tyres on that, and they look the shit. They look really cool on it. The big tyres look really cool on it. There's a bit of a... Is this the 13? No, 12 I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, it's only the red that's gone to 13. That's the new Explorer AXS in the red. That's on the Checkmate. On this bike it's 12. So the SRAM rival is what they call power ready. So you can fit a power meter very simply on it. It's also just about the cheapest way to get a proper integrated power meter onto a bike. And the SRAM power meters are really good, very accurate. The Checkpoint has frame armour. So you can see there's armour down here to protect the frame from chain slap. You've got armour in here in case you drop the chain to protect your frame, and you got armour in underneath here to protect from rocks and stuff coming up off the trails. Hey doggo! How's it going? Guest star for the day is Boxer. How are you? So there's a couple of new features that we'll go through on the bike. The cable routing is one. cable routing now is at the front of the headset here, and the gravel specific headset routing, they have these little plugs to keep dirt and grit and shite out of the headset there, so it's nice neat cable routing there. Turn that around. So you can let me know what you think of the colour in the comments. Actually, I'll tell you what's probably the one that's going to get the most reaction is, what do you think of the new logo? Do you like the placing of it, the position down here? Quite a few of the new Treks have that smaller logo down the bottom of the down tube. I don't know that I'm a fan, but I had the same reaction when they went from the small logo to the huge logo, and then from the huge logo back to the small logo. I think there's always that initial reaction to something new that doesn't always click straight away, but then it grows on you, and I think it's sort of grown on me, and I didn't like it at all at the start, so I'll reserve judgment. Let's leave that sitting there and fit these handlebars so that they're not flopping around and banging off the frame. The newer frame is the design language the Trek use tends to follow through all of their models, so you can see similar design cues and language following through. So the head tube is slightly less curvy than the older version, but it's still it's like an evolution of it, I suppose, is probably not the right word, but it's not a complete change. It's still recognisably a Trek head tube. They also don't have a head badge on this one, which is, haven't seen that before, I don't think. They just have a small Trek logo down here. We'll get Chad to zoom in on those details in a moment. So you can see no head badge, just a small Trek logo there. And then other things that are worth noting on the frame is you have, I hope I fitted these bars the right way around now, because I haven't been paying any attention to what I'm doing, so it's entirely possible I fitted these bars back to front before I took the wrappers off them. Yeah, okay, so the right way around anyway. So that would have been a funny outtake video. So with the checkpoint, there was always tons of bag mounts, bottle mounts, all that sort of stuff, so they're still there. So it's still very much your bike designed for bike packing, gravel rides, leisure gravel, sportive type gravel, all that sort of stuff. It's not as aggressive geometry as the new Checkmate. The Checkmate is very much race geometry, so this is more of the leisure end of things. So you've got mounts on the top here for food bag, and there's a new Trek bag coming for that. You've got mounts under the top tube here for a frame bag, so you can bolt your frame bag directly in. You've got multiple bottle mount positions on the frame. You've got internal storage, so your door pops off, the bottle cage mounts directly onto that, and there's a new bag that Trek have launched, which takes your CO2 inflator, your tire levers, and it's this funky sort of plaid design. You could use it as a pencil case going to school as well, or for storing your banana. The carbon inside the frame, if you can see that, it's probably worth zooming in on and having a look. So you can actually see the carbon weave in here, and the different pieces of carbon, the way it's cut and glued and bonded together. That's quite an interesting shot. So when you're fitting this little baggie, it's important that you leave the tab somewhere that you can see it, because when you've got bits in there, the bag's quite a tight fit, so you'll need that to help you get it out. And then we go in that way, lock it in place, and it's really secure, nice and secure. SRAM arrival rear derailleur. It's won by obviously being gravel. It has the new The new, I don't know if they're Bontrager or Trek branded tyres. I should really know that, shouldn't I? I don't know. Bontrager says it on the top. Okay, so they're still Bontrager. Tyres are still Bontrager. A lot of Trek's components are changing over to, and accessories and clothing are changing from the Bontrager brand to Trek. The brand is more recognisable, I suppose. For the technical products, wheels and tyres, they're sticking with Bontrager. So they're a new tyre. They're named Girona, and these are 700 by 42. They're tubeless tyres, tubeless ready wheels with the tubeless valves installed. So all you got to do is pop in your sealant, you're good to go. We should put in the seat post as well so that the bike looks finished. It can take a front derailleur as well, so if you'd rather run a 2x setup, there is a mount included for the front derailleur. One of the most common questions I get asked in the comments is what size is the bike. So this is a medium large. Trek have moved from centimetre sizings to alpha, or whatever the hell they call them for letters: small, medium, large, extra large sizing. Medium large will be similar to a 56 in old money. The bars have a flare on them, so they're the new GR Bontrager GR Elite. So the Elite is the aluminium bar, and GR is for gravel. The gravel bars are flared, so you're slightly narrower on the tops, on the hoods, and wider on the drops. It's a very square front to the fork. You can see that the front end isn't quite as curvy. They always had a real hourglass shape to the front of Treks. It still has that top tube running into the head tube, sort of curve there, but it's a bit more structured looking. Similar shape profile to the new Madone Gen 8. You've got a cutout here for the rear wheel, and you've got an ISO-speed decoupler here, which is basically a little shock absorber. Your seat mast is mounted separately on a bearing system, so that's to allow that to flex. It will take rear carrier and full mudguards, as does the race bike, which I thought was very interesting. So the new Checkmate takes full length mudguards. It has bosses and mounts and everything on it. So it also has the new recessed skewers, and there's a very neat feature. Chad behind the microphone probably hasn't seen this yet either, so we'll get him all excited with learning something new, if I can get it out of the box. So the through axle skewers have a single lever for taking them off. This guy here, and it's a nice aluminium, quite a solid, nice feel to it, and it's just a little Allen key, and it slots in and opens and closes your skewer. It goes into front or rear, and they're a really tight fit, so it stays in there while you're riding. However, the detail that you probably didn't know about, which I think is really cool, is that as well as being an Allen key skewer, you have a nice carbon seat post on these. They're a standard round seat post, so it's straightforward enough. It's a 4mm Allen key on the other end, so it tapers from a 5mm down to a 4mm, so you can actually make adjustments to your saddle height, your handlebars. Pretty much everything on the bike is either 4mm bottle cage bolts or 5mm. Any of the standard things that you're going to be adjusting when you're out on a ride that you need to adjust in an emergency can be done with your skewer, which I thought that was really cool. Easily amused. Anyway, we'll put on the saddle. Somebody sent me a message a while ago saying when I'm doing unboxings I should really fit the saddle because the bike looks sort of funny without a seat post and saddle fitted. It's not too windy today, so the shit isn't blowing everywhere. Okay. And then for Instagram, the bike should always be drive side out.
Go on to the scanning of the rail hanger as well.
Yes, is it? I don't know. Is that the new derailleur hanger? That's a technical step above my knowledge. It's not a UDH anyway. So the UDH that comes on the new Explorer system is slightly different looking to that. So I would have to put that into frequently asked questions and go and do some homework on it. Is that a question that you know the answer of?
I don't.
No, that's okay. I thought you might have just been testing me like.
No, I just thought I'd ask.
So if you know the answer to Chad's question, stick it in the comments. Is that a new standard derailleur system they're using? I know it's not a UDH anyway. But you can tell me what you think in the comments. Do you like the new design? I think it's a bit more modern looking than the previous one. Checkpoint has to be one of my favourite bikes of all time. I fucking love it. The gravel thing is just so cool. And I was quite late to, I'm late to all the parties. I'm just a cynic when it comes to these things, you know. I know you guys are there going, oh, Rob gets a new bike every second day, which probably isn't far off the truth, but I tend to be, I can be quite slow to take up on new technologies like, you know, the internet and things like that. But the gravel thing, like we've been seeing it for years. In Ireland, we've been seeing it for years. The way trends go in Ireland is they happen in somewhere like America, and then 5 years later they make it to Europe, and then 2 years later they make it to Ireland. So we tend to be quite a way down. So we've been seeing, you know, Unbound and races like that on the internet and on the websites and watching the races on YouTube and stuff for a long time. And they always look really cool. But I was thinking, what am I going to do with a gravel bike? It looks really cool, but I'm never going to use it. And that should never really be a deciding factor in buying a bike or not. You know, you can never have too many bikes. But anyway, when I got it and actually went and rode one, I really got it. And for me, we have a mixture of really flat stuff. One side of where I live, which is like canals, and it's flat out that side, and then behind the house, up behind us, is the foothills of the Dublin Mountains, and we've forests and gravel roads up there. So even on the canal, where it's completely flat and grass and gravelly and stuff like that, the big eye-opener for me on this was you were getting the same sort of buzz that you get on a mountain bike, but you had to work for it. So you were going fast on the flat, but you were getting that endorphin kick from hard exercise, which you don't really get from coming downhill on a mountain bike. You just get adrenaline. But you were also getting the adrenaline buzz when you're on wet, loose gravel or grass, because you didn't have a whole lot of grip on the tires compared to a mountain bike. So you were getting the adrenaline and the endorphins. And as we started riding, as a group of us ride together at the weekends, and as we started riding gravel, we realised that we were riding like children. You know, we're just attacking each other on the flat. And I knew I wasn't as fit as the other guys for a long time, and I thought, okay, I'm technically a bit better because I came through mountain bike and they're all roadies, so I'd attack them on the grassy, slippery bits, and you just ride like idiots, and it's great fun, and it was a real eye-opener for me. The other thing that I really found with it, that people had talked about for a long time, is you're away from traffic. Like, it's really quiet on the canal or in the forest. It's quiet, you have no traffic, you have very few people. It's really nice, it's peaceful, but it's safe. Like, you're not worried about smashing yourself up coming down a mountain bike trail at 50k an hour. If you fall off in grass, it's like you get covered in muck and you damage your pride, but usually not a lot else. But you're also not dealing with cars and all that sort of rubbish on the road. So anyway, that's my sort of, if you're still here after whatever, we're 15 minutes in, fair play, you lasted a long time. So Trek Checkpoint, SL6, AXS. It's Rob from Wheelworks Bike Shop in Dublin, and we're done.